All right, guys, today we're going to be reacting to a video. This one's blowing up right now. It says, growing up in a black family as a white person, pretty much. And we got to take a look at this. I'm wondering to get more insight from growing up in a black family as a white person, and how does that look and feel like to these people? Let's go ahead and check it out.
Stylish white kids, light-skinned kids you ever seen in your life.
Love has no color. So that woman took me in, and I literally owe her my whole world. Like, I'm gonna
Man, her accent real. She got a real accent. It's heavy.
give her everything. Like, she took me in when nobody else did, you know. So
Like, my mom instilled a lot of black power into me, and it just don't match.
She got the slick back. She got the slick back with the curls. See, my woman know what I'm talking about. You know, my black woman know what I'm. So she got the slick back with the part.
I do not have the same experience.
I was raised with a black African grandfather. He
to me like the most insane things. But I promise you, if someone else said those exact things, oh my gosh, all hell's being raised.
For sure. For sure.
And you know what's crazy about me is I actually grew up in a black household, which was great. Food was good, everything was seasoned. I also used to get taken to a barbershop all the time. And even though I was the lightest thing in there, they used to give me a fade. I love my fade. My mom also spared no expense on my clothes. She got me everything I ever wanted. And clothes I didn't even know I wanted. If you saw me out in public, I was probably one of the most stylish white kids, light-skinned kids you ever seen in your life. But anyway, at the family reunions, I always used to chill with my family, vibing. You know, I stuck out like a sore thumb because I was the lightest thing in there.
You know what's crazy is like the white kids that grow up in black families, they don't consider them white. They just consider them light skinned.
But you know, these are my blood relatives anyway, so nobody pays no attention to it. Up until my uncle comes up to me and he looks at my clothes, looks at my fade, and was like, "What's up, Vanilla Ice?" And then that stuck with me for the next 10 years in my family. I became Vanilla Ice.
I saw that you were raised by a black woman. Is that correct?
most of my homes and group homes were black. Like, I can't say, like, I know I'm white. At the end of the day, I'm white. You see my color, all that. But white people didn't like me. It was really weird. Like, most of the homes that accepted me was black. And I never understood why. I was just like, okay, cool. I never really
They got
cared.
big hearts, man.
As long as I was
They don't
someone
see
where
color.
there's love. Love has no color. So that woman took me in, and I literally owe her my whole world. Like, I'm gonna give
That's
her
awesome.
everything. Like,
That's
she
great.
took me in when nobody else did. You know, so
No one talks about growing up with the black mom and being mixed, but like being
Oh, so you're
like that
mixed
is
but
such
white
a
as
trippy
hell. Gotcha.
experience. Like, my mom instilled a lot of black power into me, and it just don't match. Like, I do not have the same experience, and so talking about being mixed, I just feel like an imposter, and I just sometimes feel like I come across as like a phony, like, who just wants to join the club, but like, let me in. But it's true, I love my mom, and like, she raised me to be a strong black woman, but unfortunately my genes said
Go and pass me my shoe. I was raised with a black African grandfather. He was my dad's stepfather, yet he was the only father in my dad's life.
How was it like as a kid growing up with a West African grandfather in such a mixed family?
I was heavily influenced by Ghanaian culture. I had a grandfather at home who I sometimes clashed with, and I would be firmly reminded that, Hakim, you are playing too much computer. You know, you need to study more. Why do you want to spend time outside? You're a child. You should not be walking around in the street. For the first 10 years of my life, like, that was the kind of cultural clash. Hakim, go and pass me my shoe now. And I hadn't been used to being spoken in such a kind of direct, orderly way like that. Yeah, when I was very young, it was hard. And there was back and forth, and we would, I guess, argue. But then as I got into secondary school, our bond strengthened so much.
The one thing I find truly funny being raised by a
Man, that's awesome, man. You know, look, man, really growing up and being away from my dad, man, and being mixed. You know, when I grew up and latched on to my pastor at a young age. You know, he was an all black pastor. I went to a full gospel ministries down in New Orleans East, and he didn't Didn't see any difference in anybody, man. He treated everybody like a human being. And for the group of kids in his neighborhood, no matter what age, color, whatever, he treated us all like sons and helped groom us into the men that we are today. And Pastor Gary Bailey, if you ever see this, man, I still love you, man.
Black mother is if anybody else talks crazy to me, she's not gonna let that slide. She like, you're not doing that. But if she wants to talk crazy to me, that's okay. I love my mother, but I'm not gonna lie. She used to say the craziest things to me, like the most insane things. But I promise you, if someone else said those exact things, oh my gosh, all hell's being raised. What?
Did she say, Hakim, bring me my shoe?
Uncles, aunties, they're also allowed to give their input and really say whatever. Grandma, grandpa, allowed to say whatever. But if you are not part of the family, you cannot speak to me any type of way. I remember one of my ex-girlfriend's mothers came up to my front door and was yelling at me because I had accidentally broke her daughter's glasses. My mom was so quick to walk to that door and press the situation and be like, who do you think you're talking to? You can talk to me like that. You're not going to talk to him like that, but you can talk to me like that. I'm not going to lie. When my mom's tension started getting high and you could feel the energy getting thick in the air, oh yeah, she walked away immediately, I promise you. There was no sticking around to find out. There wasn't playing those stupid games and winning stupid prizes. She knew it was going to happen.
Being a black mother made it very, very obvious that being racially white gave me a lot of advantages that she didn't have, or any other person who's more melanated didn't have. Especially since I had my father's last name, I didn't have my mother's last name, so it's very Americanized. Things like jobs, job interviews, job applications. I know from being a manager for a very long time that a lot of times companies do profile people based off of their last name. And when they do face-to-face interviews, a lot of people cannot escape their natural bias, and they will lean towards somebody who is white or more white presenting because that's who they're most familiar with, or they have some kind of stereotype in their mind, an image that they're trying to keep up. And then there's societal advantages because of racism. For example, you have an intersection, there's stop signs and there's crosswalks. You have a car coming up. The person who's driving the car is a white person who has a bias, or they are racist. One situation where the white person who's driving has a bias, they will allow the pedestrian to cross the street, the one who is white, because they have favor towards them and they want to do something nice. They're extending civility and kindness to them because they are white. Scenario number 2, the white person who has a bias or is racist is coming up and there is a black person waiting to cross the street. They will not allow that person to cross the street. They will keep driving. Even if that person enters the crosswalk, there's a large possibility that the white person who's racist or biased will continue to drive through like that person doesn't even exist. Because a lot of these people who think like that do not see black individuals as equal people.
Okay, story time. So here is one of the things that you absolutely cannot do as a black mom to a white child. You thought that was funny? You thought that was funny. Okay, so one day we are in Target, okay?
That was not in Target.
No, we're not in Target right now. But one day we're in Target, so he's potty training, right? He has to go to the bathroom really bad. So he cannot hold it. Oh, my mom, I gotta use the bathroom. So I pick him up and I bolt to the bathroom, okay? Imagine me running with a 2-year-old, just running through Target, right?
Got to.
Oh my gosh.
It's a 2-year-old.
Oh, Lord. Like, you can't
it's a boy,
do it.
too.
We finally get to the bathroom. He uses the bathroom or whatever. Of course, I'm getting him cleaned up and getting ready to come out the stall. Upon coming out the stall, I see 2 women, not 1, 2, standing in front of the door. I didn't really think anything of it. So, of course, you guys already know that I was in Target with my son and he had to use the bathroom. So now we are coming out the stall. There's 2 women standing there at the door. I thought they had to use the bathroom. I wasn't thinking that they were in there because of us. So I proceed to go to the sink to wash my son's hands. Okay. So as I go to the sink, I see the women like box me in. So I'm looking around like, what's the problem? Again, not registering. The lady said, grab her. Grab who? Grab me? Don't grab me, because baby, you get ready to get beat up. You get ready to get beat up. Like, what is going on? I'm thinking I'm getting ready to get kidnapped with my own son or get robbed. Now we kind of shuffling and scuffling back and forth. I'm trying to figure out where my collar is. I heard one of them yell out, security is on its way. Then it registered to me, oh, they think I'm trying to kidnap my son. So now me and the lady, we kind of pushing each other back and forth. And she's about 55 or 60 years old, right? So I hear my son like, yo, mommy. Now he's like a little bit away from me, and I'm thinking that the other lady who looks about 35 or 40 is getting ready to grab him. So at this point, I had to do what I had to do. I pushed her ass down, okay? Now she laying on the floor, she hollering like I just killed her or whatever. So the other lady goes over there to try to aid the lady that's on the ground. I goes grab my son up as I'm leaving out. The security is coming in. I'm like, call 911. This lady trying to assault me. I don't know what's going on. The police get there. I'm telling them what's going on, and come to find out, I done broke her dang on finger. At this point, I don't even care. So of course now they finds out that my son is adopted. They're apologizing and all this. Then this helper have the audacity to say, I won't press charges if you don't. Girl, your damn finger should be broke. Mind your business.
For the people who don't know, the woman who adopted you, one that you claim as your...
That is crazy, dude. That is crazy. It's almost, I can see how you're running through Target, and it's Target. At Walmart, they probably wouldn't even have questioned what was going But at Target, look, you're just trying to get a white kid to the bathroom, bro. And look, there's a lot of indifference between you and that kid. So I get it. He's adopted. But that's crazy. Some people just need to mind their business, bro. Like, you know, my kids, man, they're light skinned, man. They're triracial down to everything about them, dude. The way they look, the way their hair is, the way their skin color. And then sometimes when they're with their mom, man, people give them looks. Like they give her looks, look at the kids, give her looks again. Like, what are you doing with these kids? You know, so I totally get it.
Mom, she was black. You grew up in a whole black family.
Yeah, my mother, the heroin addict, all her first kids was mixed with black. I was
Right.
the only one that she had by a white man, I guess.
You said that you are black. You said that you pretty much were born into. It wasn't your choice. It's not like you're this white guy trying to be this culture vulture, trying to be black. This is what you were raised by.
Yeah, ever since birth. I didn't have parents that said, don't say
Birth.
the N-word. You know, you shouldn't.
Hey, look, he definitely a brother. This dude said birth. Ever since birth. When you you from the hood, my
I
guy.
can't say this. I mean, I had a good parent, but she wasn't saying that. That's all I know is black. I didn't grow up with nobody else, bro. I didn't start actually intermingling with white people until I got an adult, bro. Like grown, like 22, 23 until I started working.
Being the only white person in the black family, do you get made fun of?
Sometimes.
Are you the joke in the house?
Sometimes. I mean, sometimes my sisters and them used to say, you acting just like Dottie. You gonna be just, and I didn't know who that was, but that was, I guess, my birth mother. So yeah, I mean, they used to say shit like that sometimes.
I'm gonna need y'all white parents of biracial kids to listen in real quick. I'm gonna give you fair warning, this might be an uncomfortable conversation, but it's necessary. A lot of y'all's kids have complexes and identity issues, and it's not because they have a white parent. It's because a lot of y'all chose to have biracial kids before you unpacked your internalized racism and anti-blackness. It's because a lot of y'all have biracial children without learning enough about the black experience to guide your child through a black experience, to guide them through a world that is inherently anti-black. Cutting off your racist family members is not all it takes to raise a biracial kid. In fact, that doesn't even come close to the bare minimum. You can have the best intentions for your children while still causing them collective harm. And you know, I first noticed this when my daughter was an infant and I started joining Facebook groups for parents of biracial kids. These white moms would have the best intentions, yet end up on Facebook crying about how their child was saying they didn't want to be black and they hated being black. And because these parents did not take the time to educate themselves whatsoever on systemic racism and anti-blackness on a level that they would be able to appropriately raise a biracial child, they were on the internet crying for help instead of helping their kid. You cannot shield your child from experiencing anti-blackness in the world, but you can equip them to deal with it. I get told pretty frequently that my daughter will be mistaken for a black mom biracial, and I'm going to explain to you why. First and foremost, she is not raised in an anti-black environment. A lot of black men, white women relationships are inherently anti-black, due to the fact that the relationship is based on fetishization and the hatred of black women instead of mutual love. The way that I look at it, the world is constantly going to be hurling anti-blackness at my child. And instead of acting like it does not exist, I have been equipping my child since birth to be able to handle said anti-blackness through radical self-love and positive identity. My child has at a young age told me that she wanted to be white to match her family. Right then and there, we had a very long conversation about anti-blackness and racism at 4 years old, and how her blackness was the most beautiful part of her. She made a comment one time about her baby doll, her black baby with coily hair, being ugly. Again, we had a long discussion about colorism, texturism, and racism. After that day, that baby did not leave her hip. You cannot just be not teaching your kid to be anti-black. You have to be preparing them for an anti-black world. You have to ensure that you are not feeding your child a complex towards other black people, that you're showing them how to cherish and uplift their community. See, biracial kids with white parents can be raised to be pro-black, but many aren't. And that is because their environment and their role models are not pro-black. If you don't want your child to have identity issues, it starts with you. It is wholeheartedly possible for you to educate yourself. A lot of y'all simply choose not to. Do better.
I mean, I really, my kids being triracial and they're so mixed, man. I come from, down here in New Orleans, man. We really we have some of it. We have some racism, but I wouldn't say it's not as the systematic racism that you find somewhere else, man. There is so much love and culture down here to surround themselves with, so much acceptance down here. So many other kids like them that I wouldn't say it's normalized, but I would say they are surrounded by love and acceptance. And that's a great thing for my kids. And, the world is big enough, right? If you have biracial kids, and for those who are watching that have biracial kids, man, if you have the chance to move to a different environment, if you have the chance, do that. Do that for the best position for your kids. Let their environment empower them, okay? That's what you do. You don't... You move, you change the environment, you change your environment, okay? You don't let the environment change you.
Hello, so as a white kid that grew up in black foster homes, I always heard this one sentence, and you've probably heard it too, but also in just society alone, that some people, just some, say that black people are too loud. And I just just have one question. Just one. Would you hear them if they were regular volume?
Ooh. Ooh, that's a powerful question. She said black people are too loud. She said some people said that black people are too loud, but would you actually hear them if they were regular volume? That is a powerful question to ask. Wow, man. Wow.
When I was younger, people used to ask me, why are you white and your family is brown? And they used to ask my siblings the same question. So my mom told us to always reply with, that's the way God made me. Which is true in a way. And often the people who say this are people who mean it with pure innocence. They just don't know what albinism is, so I'm not angry. But like, I look like my family members. I'm just a bit lighter.
Your dad's black, mom's white. What do you think you learned because of that growing up?
A lot. I learned from them to just kind of like rise above things. Like, you don't always have to give people the reaction they want. A lot of times people are sometimes saying things just to get a reaction. You know, obviously there's hate in a lot of people's hearts, and people that choose to say or write or whatever, you know, some of these racial things. I think that they're looking to get a rise out of somebody, and my parents were so good at just, they were fine. They were good. Nobody was like rattling their love or what they had.
Was there?
That's awesome. That's Blake Griffin, former NBA All-Star, man. Like, you got to understand, man, the world would try. It's so easy to be hateful and to spread hate, man. But sometimes it takes a little bit of extra work to be positive, man. But at the end of the day, definitely support biracial relationships. That's something that I've always been a part of and always been I'm also biracial, so it's just so much surrounding this topic, and it's just always a joy when I'm able to talk about it. But what do you guys think about today's video? Credit to, we're going to credit the original creator. I'll put the link below so y'all can go support him. But thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button, hype, and comment. I'll see you on the next one.